We're going to see if we can turn this into the ultimate bushcraft axe. We're going to rework the head a little bit with some grinders. We're going to rework the handles, maybe put a nice little stain on it. So I just went to the local department store. I picked up this axe. It's approximately 21 inches long. It weighs 3.5 pounds. To clarify that, I've got my scale from the kitchen. Let's just see what it weighs. We are looking at 3 pounds 9 ounces. So that's the weight of the axe. Here are some of the dimensions for you. We are looking at just over, we're about 6 5/8 long by about 4 inches. The length of the axe, we are looking at about 21 inches. And I looked at different shapes, different profiles of some of the heads that people use for bushcraft. I just click on images, bushcraft axes. So this is kind of the shape I like, where it was flat across the top. So I'm going to cut this off here, get rid of all this, and then I got a nice little belly in the axe, and it comes up and straight back down again. So we're going to cut this profile out by knocking the head off first. So you'll notice on the end of the head, they have these circle rings here. So what they do is they put the axe head onto the handle. Those fit. They hammer those in to basically put pressure to open the wood up, and it squeezes the head together so it doesn't fall off. So you can bang it all you want. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drill. We're going to drill some of those out, loosen it off. Now we're not going to go too deep with it because we still need this part of the wood. So we're just going to come down a bit until we can take those rings out. We will be reusing them again. So keep them, take a 3/8 drill bit and just drill right in the center of each ring. And then I'll use a smaller bit to drill around the wood. So it did take a little bit of drilling. You can see we got most of that material hogged out in there. I believe those rings, they seem to be aluminum, so they're quite a bit softer. Be careful if you rub up against it with a drill bit, it could damage them. So I think we're pretty close. We can probably put a screwdriver or something in there to pry them out. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, there it goes. That one pops out. Now I'll grab my pliers. Just want to get them kind of wiggled. Yeah, so these are the shape of what they look like. They're hollow, tapered at the one end, and we are looking at about 7/8 of an inch, almost an inch. Centimeters, they're 2 centimeters. So they are pretty deep. So I suggest if you're going to drill them a little bit deeper than that. Maybe go 1 1/8 inch, maybe a little bit more, and then you'll be able to wiggle them out a little better. So they're still good shape. We can still reuse them. Now let's see if we get the second one out here. So we'll do the same thing. I'll put a screwdriver on it, give her a bit of a wiggle. Yeah, so that's moving now. And to see it just slowly lifting up. I'll pull her out with the pliers. Yeah, there we go. All right, we still saved more than half of our handle. So we'll end up cutting this off right here, keeping this profile, but moving it back so that the axe handle will fit back on it again. So before I start grinding this, little disclaimer here is make sure you wear protection, eyeglasses, wear a face shield. Cut-off wheels, you've probably seen out there on the internet that they explode. It can happen. So take as much precaution as you can. Use hearing protections, gloves when necessary, and of course guards on the grinder. All right, so I'm just going to use a little table when cutting here. I got my grinder and supplies, and yep, those are deer bedded down in my backyard. Now at this point, you can keep grinding. You can use a flat disc. You can use a grinding. I'm going to use my belt sander just because I have one. It's going to be on 40 grit, and I'm just going to clean up the edges, smoothen it out, take this paint off, bring it right back down to its raw material. Well, I got it where I want it to be. I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's just an axe. So that's our profile. Good shape. So now with our handle, so we chewed it up a little bit, getting those little pins out of there. Right here. Right, so they were embedded in here about that deep. So what we want to do is we want to cut the axe handle off about here, get rid of this portion, and then we're gonna turn the material down just a little bit to get that axe head back in, because you can see how it kind of like flares up. We gotta make this profile here, back here, and then start. So you can cut it off with a saw. So we got rid of the majority of the paint. There's still some yellow at the bottom. Right now, I don't like the profile of the bottom of my axe. So I'm going to shape it on my belt sander, get a nice profile, and then I'll continue sanding it down nice and smooth, getting rid of any of that varnish. Our next process, this is where the head of the axe is going to go. This is the bottom end of it. I want to put a hole, drill a hole right through the bottom of it. This hickory is really hard. Okay, so that's our hole at one end, that's our hole at the other end. We didn't break through it, cut through, so that's good. It didn't chip it all up. Really happy with that, but that should be nice for putting a lanyard or even putting a nail on a tree and hanging it up. Give it a few taps, we'll see what it looks like. It might be still might be a little too big. Well, that didn't work. I ended up trying to hit the bottom of the hammer or the axe on the ground to drive the head down, but my wood was still too big. So I had to take the axe handle off, axe head off, and then shave this down a little bit. But in the meantime, it cracked it. So a little disappointed, but I mean, it is a long handle, so what I can end up doing is cutting it a bit shorter. It's still gonna work, but now I've never done this before, but we learn as we go, we figure things out. So I'm gonna end up taking the axe handle off one more time, shave it down a little bit more. Mounting the axe head to the handle was a little bit more trickier than I expected. I had to take the camera off and go use some extra weight and a little bit of muscle. I ended up putting this on a piece of concrete, nice and flat. Then I had a board sitting on top of here and then a 15-pound weight driving that handle in. So we got it in pretty good. And now I'm gonna use those little collar, washers, sleeve, expanders. Let's call them expanders. We'll put 2 of those in and hopefully that'll tighten her up for us. So now I did have to shorten up the axe handle because it did split on the end. I still like the idea of putting a hole in it. So we will drill another 3/8 hole in the butt end of this. Next thing I want to do is I want to stain the wood. And I also want to show you how to do a little bit of a, we'll call it staining of the axe head. Good old-fashioned mustard. So inside of mustard is vinegar, and the vinegar is going to do the etching. All we want to do is put a little bit on a paper towel. Next, we just want to dab it all over the axe. All right, so we can kind of see it's kind of like, it's not a lot, just enough to get that vinegar from the mustard to dry. I'm gonna jump ahead here. We're gonna stain the handle while that mustard is still drying. So we're just gonna take some paper towels, wear some gloves, just dip it inside the container. Little dabs, and then let's just apply it. So I'm not going to sharpen it yet. I'll sharpen it once I do another coat of stain and I do linseed oil, so probably the next day or two. It's been a few days now. We have 2 coats of stain on the handle and 2 coats of boiled linseed oil. Turned out really nice. I like the grain, how it turned out. Really nice looking. Now to sharpen your axe, they recommend for bushcraft axes to be anywhere between 25 and 30 degrees. Splitting axes, you're looking at around 30 to 35 degree angle. So you can use a grinder, a file, belt sander, whatever you have to make that sharp. Things I would have done differently when working on this bushcraft axe. One thing, I mentioned that when you put the mustard to stain, to put that little bit of a stain on the axe head, leave it overnight, let it sit as long as you can, and that'll get you a nice little patina look, kind of give you a nice little tiger stripes or whatever pattern you decide to use on it. The other thing I would have done is I would have bought a new handle when I purchased the axe. It took a lot of work to grind it down, to save the expanders, and to rework it. It took me about 2 hours times, although the video didn't show it, but it was quite frustrating at times. I even split the end of the axe by hitting it on the concrete. So next time what I would have done is just buy a new handle, work the head, and put a new handle on it, and it would have saved a lot of grief. But it did turn out quite well. I am happy with the way it looked. The balance is a little top heavy, only because I had to cut the end piece where it split off, but it is a good little axe. I've cut a couple pieces of wood with it now, and it splits really, really good.